All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, here is the YouTube video announcement version. I recently made the announcement on Twitch already, however, we had microphone difficulties, which is why I decided to just sit down here again and talk to you in a video. Now, in advance, I sort of have work meetings soon, so this is actually how I dress for work. Not really for this video, but I suppose it suits the occasion since it is going to be sort of business related after all. And so for those who haven't been watching my streams or been listening or talking to me, I'll quickly explain what the plan is. So over time, I for myself have decided that it is a desire of mine to sort of bring this game as far forward as possible. I've always wanted to host big tournaments in the future. I've always wanted to see this community thrive, and I think we're going into the right direction in the sense that we have large content creators right now that are doing phenomenal work, and we also have people like Chicks, PK Chicks, who's hosting one of the largest AoE tournaments we've seen in a while for sure, right? So things are certainly moving into the right direction. And I would really like to go with that trend because, again, I think when you want to accomplish results that haven't been accomplished so far, you simply have to also go for means that haven't been used so far. And so I thought to myself, what are the key challenges we as a community face when it comes to expanding the game? And my conclusion was the following. The largest challenge really is that our game is invisible. And what I mean by that is people don't know it. While there's games in the world like League of Legends, Fortnite, CSGO, and so on and so forth that almost everybody knows, I think, at least in the gaming world, a game like Age of Empires is far less known. Right? You would ask people and they will maybe tell you, oh, I've heard this before, but the chance that they've actually tried it, played it, seen it is much smaller. And I think that's mainly due to advertisement. A game that is properly advertised will always be known, and a game that isn't advertised so much or not at all, I think in our case, obviously won't be as known. And so in that sense, there could be millions of potential AoE3 lovers and players out there that simply have never been given the opportunity to make a choice about whether they would like to play or try the game or not. So that's a big challenge. The second challenge, I think, is that we sort of have a very divided community. We have these groups, we have ESOC, we have House of Trading Post, we have Lionheart, we have Sunbros, we have so many groups, right? Um, don't be mad if I didn't mention your group. And I think as much as that is sort of all right for the people that already are involved in the community to some extent, it's difficult for people that are very new. So I imagine that a majority of the people that are playing, for example, with AI, I mean, yeah, against comps, that are playing lobby games with friends, are less likely to be involved much in our community at all. Because if they ever try to, they're probably gonna get confused. Say they'll be like, "Oh, where do I go? Where's the community hub here?" And then people would tell them, "Oh, no, you've got to go to this Discord and no that Discord and no these guys are bad and then these guys are good," and that is all very confusing. And yeah, regardless of that, even people that are within the community, I sometimes reaching out to me, being like, "Oh, can you link me this Discord? I can't find it." And it's really like a public thing. It's gonna be like the Lionheart Discord, which is really a big one. And it'll be like, "No, I can't find it. Where is it?" And I'll say, "I don't know. I don't really know where to find it." And so there's that. So that is another challenge to sort of have a bit of unity within the community. Rhymes as well. Very nice. Third challenge is a bit of a content drought, especially for the past months where there hasn't been much of a tournament. That is changing now, to be fair. We're seeing tournaments now, but it may return in the future. So by that I mean that there is a lot of demand for content. People like to watch pro players, people like to watch show matches and tournaments and all that. You can tell because the moment one of those things is streamed, people are tuning in, I guarantee. Probably even with really high view numbers. But there's not much to watch these days. And so, wouldn't it be a really clever solution if we had something to fight that back as well? Yes. And I think for that as well, I have a solution. And last but not least, the matter of improving and the matter with the coaching. A reoccurring topic all the time. I released guides last year, which was like a first step into that direction. And over the past years, I have actively coached a bunch of people, but probably never as many people as I would have liked to. And what I mean by that is there was a lot of requests, but I can't really meet the demand most of the time. I tried to do that for Treaty years back, and I burned out very quickly. I would get up at 3 a.m. No, go to bed at 3 a.m. because my last coaching session was at that time. I'd get up at 6 a.m. because it was, the next coaching session would be then. And that was very much for me. That was too much for me. As much as it may have been financially rewarding, it doesn't work if all you can think about 24 hours a day is AoE. Trust me, that is not pleasant. So I didn't really have a solution for this for the longest time, so I'd occasionally coach someone. Sometimes I'd have to say, yeah, okay, I can do this. And sometimes I'd have to say, no, I can't coach you right now. Your coding people will know who I refer to. But that obviously is not a very great solution, to just be selective and not do it much, because I respect people that do want to get better. If it's what I would do. If I was bad again at the game, it's what I did back then. What I would really like to do is just hit up the best player I know and try to get him to help me. That is the smartest way to go about it. And so for that as well, I think I finally have a solution. And what I'm going to do in a moment is to share my screen to showcase what I've really come up with to solve all these challenges. Well, let's say one by one, and in a sense, the biggest challenge, the visibility, I'm trying to solve with the aftermath of the previous ones. So let's do that. The overall solution is that next weekend, which is, what is it? Should be like, yeah, the 4th of October, 5th of October, I will release my brand new Discord server. And it is intended to be a lasting community hub if we can make that work. What I mean by that is that obviously I think I sort of have the prestige to say I don't really have any active enemies, any grudges with anyone, so that I can welcome any community to my server. Supremacy, Treaty, all the little groups, everyone. And especially new players. I really want the server to be spread over time in a way where any player at any time has no difficulty finding access to that Discord server. So Community Hub is number one. Step number two, and now I can share my screen, is that I want to run a subscription-based model for basically coaching and entertainment. Now, because these things make me rely on other people, let me show you, this is, oh, is my cam too big? I'll just move myself a little bit. Yeah, because I rely on other people for this, it obviously can't really be free. There's a lot of value that will be provided. Feel free to read a little. I'll talk about it in a moment. And at the same time, just stick to the end. I have a pretty cool idea that I'd like to pursue with the profits of this project. So the first basic subscription is going to be, okay, I wasn't very creative with the name, but I called it a sub review club. So what this does is for $10 a month, which is, I guess, the same that people have for Spotify or YouTube Premium these days, I imagine at least, in order to gain access inside my Discord to a section where Phoenix and Haza, from my perspective, two of the very best players this game has ever seen, yet with very different styles, will review games. And they will do this several times a week. basically just upload it as a YouTube video that is private, only accessible in this group, and it will be for all kinds of elos. You will be able to also share your games inside that Discord. So if you want your games to be reviewed, that is a possibility. Not a guarantee. If it's many games, they have to be selective, but a possibility. And you will be able to learn what these pros, from their perspective, do not think about a game as a caster, but they will try to speak from one person's perspective in order to really clear what they would do differently and how to really establish professional thought processes. That, I think, is really valuable. When I started, I was a 3D player, most of you know that, and what really helped me was actually Conqueror's YouTube videos, not just the ones he was playing in, but actually the ones he was reviewing other people's gameplay in, because he was able to comment on why he would do what differently, and that really clicked for me. I imagine this is going to do the same for you. So of course I pay these boys for it as well. I'm very appreciative for them doing that. It means that I don't have to do all of it myself. So big props to them, of course. And you also get a 1-day free trial, which means that either you can test out if this is something you really want, if this is something that helps you, or if perhaps you're someone that says, okay, $10 a month, that's great, but maybe I'm in a region in the world where that's expensive, that's too much. You can, at some point in time, you don't have to do it immediately, just use your free trial once to gain access to not just the current games, but also all the previous ones. So you can just say, okay, it's the weekend. Today I can really just take my time and work through a lot of recordings and try to learn, and it's free because you're just going to keep it for the 1 day. That is a possibility I wanted to grant. So yes, feel free to do that. The second subscription is going to be Showmatch Enjoyer. Again, I've not been very creative with the names. And that is my entertainment bundle. What that means is, for starters, we're going to run weekly best of fives, maybe even best of sevens, between two of these named pros. Now, as you can see, we really have all the top boys in there. I'm very proud of that. Everyone agreed to participate. Kaiser, Phoenix, Ravna, Keta, Frontline, Angus, Ace, Hazard, and myself. So right now we're 9 people. So that roughly once a month you should see every player in some combination. And they're playing for money, of course. So it's worth it for them. Money's mine and possibly also Chix's. We're gonna have a deal there where we might 50-50 that. I think that is almost guaranteed, but we haven't done all the details yet. So props to Chix again. And I think this is already one heck of a show. You know, if I were to think, okay, $10 a month and I get to watch one really good show match a week, and then if I even just subscribe later on, I can watch back all the previous ones, that's a pretty good deal. The way this is going to work is, again, you have the 1-day free trial, so as well you can at any time just use that if you just want 1 day on your weekend to be show matches from the past. But the way this is going to work is we're going to have a caster in Discord. Casters, I think even Kaiser and Haza were like, oh, we'd be willing to cast, and I'm open for other casters as well, of course. We'll be casting in the Discord call live that you only have access to through the subscription. So that if you want to watch live, you can just join in the call and watch their screen share, but obviously muted. And then afterwards, like a YouTube video, they'll upload it inside the channel so that even if you missed it, couldn't make it or anything, it is sort of stored in there. And this way we'll have a really nice gathering of show matches. Depending on how this subscription goes performance-wise, how much you guys like it, I might even edit things, I might add more content. We could have not just one weekly show match, but perhaps a weekly challenge as well. Things like who's got the fastest Imperial and whatnot, maybe even somewhat public challenges. Those were ideas I had. I have a couple. We'll see about that. But again, I'm willing to sort of upgrade the content of these over time. The third subscription is just a hybrid of the first two. So obviously you get a sort of reduced price if you take both at once. I wouldn't want you to double pay that. You just get access to the show matches and the recorded game coaching. And I don't think there's much that needs to be said. And now for the finale, which is usually the part where most people are, at least from my previous feedback, a little skeptical, but it comes with purpose, is the active coaching. And you can tell by the prices, $50 or $80 a month. Holy shit, Julian, that's a lot of money. What are you doing with us? And the answer is these bundles include the previous two bundles, same access for the whole month on everything, but come with either one or two one-on-one coaching sessions of 1 hour each with either Hazard or Phoenix, depending on your choice. And these people's boys, these guys, these people's boys, oh my god. Well, these guys' time is valuable and rare. They may be playing, but actually coaching a lot, just like I explained in the beginning, is pretty taxing. So the idea with these prices is to say that whoever really wants to be coached and says, I'm not going to perform in the tournament anyway, I just really need the help to get better, can do that. I respect that. I probably would do the same if I really want to compete. I think there's hardly a way around a coach. Same reason people have coaches in every sport in the world. But at the same time, this might sort of scare off those who kind of want coaching, but wouldn't really commit so hard or say this is too much money. And the reason why this is so important is that people can't really do all that much coaching if you're a coach. Say 10 people. 10 people is really not a lot. Okay, I've seen many more requests than 10. Say 10 people book the $80 session, which is 2 hours of coaching per coach. So we have 20 hours of coaching that are due in 1 month for these two coaches, which means every single weekend on both days, they have at least 1 hour gone for coaching. And that's just 10 people. So that's a lot. So again, it is important that these prices, at least in the beginning, stay high. Should we realize that depending on the demand, we can change the prices over time, I'm obviously willing to do that. But I might have to change them back shortly after if the coaches realize, oh boy, 30 people signed up this month. I'm done. We don't want our coaches to burn out. They're human beings, great human beings, good at AOE3 especially, but they're human beings. And they may not have the experience with coaching yet where they think, oh, I can take this all day, every day. But I think they'll come to realize that coaching can be pretty taxing on your mind. So this is what I've got. This is the first and second step, and now you hopefully have realized. This will obviously all be available within the Discord, by the way. This is just my summary page, but yes. Now we have realized that the original challenge, the visibility challenge, hasn't really been dealt with yet. And that's because I intend to, of course, use the profits I make here to pay the coaches as well, right? That's clear. But also to, well, run this side, and I would like to in the future run ads for the game and this project. I don't know how this will go, but I don't think it's really ever been done properly. And I would really like to try to just run social or YouTube or Google ads for AOE3 in combination with my Discord, with these guides, and possibly also bring out a beginner guide. So that's the sort of package I'm planning for. And again, I don't know how this will go. I've read a lot of very sweet comments. I think the majority of people, the silent majority, are really looking forward to this. To me, it doesn't matter whether you participate or not, as long as you're positive towards it. I think this can bring our game forward a lot. And obviously, there's also been some criticism, typically of people that think the prices are high, but again, they're intended to be. So I take that as a bit of a compliment. My idea worked. And we'll have to see how this goes, right? Worst case, people don't like it, but I don't think that's the case. So far, based on the feedback, I think people are pretty excited, myself included, of course. And the one question I do have as well is for my hopefully still available treaty audience, that I would like to copy paste the same thing for treaty 2. However, the treaty community is much smaller, so I would love if you could type a 1 in the comments if you are interested in me copy pasting this exact same thing for treaty. Ziv already agreed to be a coach for this. Now what matters is I need to know if we have an audience to make this profitable, because I can't run it if it isn't, right? So let me know, Treaty Boys, which ones of these packages you want. If you want all of them are possible, of course. And additionally, below the 1, you can also message let's say a 10, if you're also interested in a treaty guide, right? Someone brought this up recently. People are very interested in treaty guides, booms, and all that. Julian, your videos are so old. We need treaty guidance. I've always thought it's a very taxing project on my time, and always assumed it might not be rewarding. However, I'm willing to hear you boys out. If you think it is something you want, let me know, and if the resonance is going to be very positive, very high, I'll consider it, okay? I think I've said my piece now. I hope you're as excited as I am. I think this is thrilling, business, AoE. I always dreamed of having AoE be super big, and at some point, I just believed people when they started telling me, oh, you can't do this in this game. It's too small. Can't do anything here. But then I brought out the guide, and I see how many satisfied customers I have within the guide now. The guides, I should say this too. And this is why I've really come to realize it doesn't matter so much what other people think. They don't know any better. This is something that hasn't been tried for AoE 3. If anything, I've talked to Drongo at some point in AoE 4 who's running a similar thing, and it's working. I was like, yeah, I mean, if no one's gonna step up and try, why don't I do that? I can't do that. So here we are. Here we are. I'm excited to hear your feedback. Of course, constructive criticism is very much appreciated. I've already had a couple people reach out to me that could even support this. I was very grateful for that as well. So if you have any insights that could be helpful, maybe in terms of marketing, I don't know if we have marketing people here, for the ads. I've run ads in the past for other things, but never before for a game. So I'm happy to hear about, well, any piece of advice from anyone. That being said, see you on the other side, boys.